Why do you keep appearing like that? Can't you just appear and say hi like a normal figment of my imagination?
Do you hear yourself right now? You're seeing people that don't exist and you're having conversations with them.
I'm starting to get a headache.
Hold that thought. We have 2 more steps in the road process.
What's the next step?
Now, we're on the P, and the P stands for programming.
What, like computer programming?
Well, not quite. Think of programming as another word for action. See, we've clarified our research, and now we want to find out our objectives and how we're going to reach those objectives.
Okay.
The programming stage is sometimes called the communication stage because it's at this point in the road process that you're going to actually be communicating to your audience. And see, according to Wilcox and Cameron, the goal of this part of the process is to inform, persuade, motivate, and achieve mutual understanding.
What does that mean?
It means this is where the real stuff starts to happen. News conferences, special events, rallies.
Sounds like fun.
And you know what? It is fun. And the first step, according to Henderson Hayes, is to pick a theme for all of your communications and programs.
What's a theme?
Think of it as one big idea. And then all you gotta do is filter in all your little ideas. And then just come up with a saying or a phrase.
Like those Target commercials. Everyone's different, but they all have the common theme of expect more, pay less.
Exactly, and that is a great example of a theme. They should be catchy and only contain a few words.
What's next?
Next is the plan. And a great way to get your client's message out there is to plan special events. And special events can take many different forms. They can be displays at exhibits, they can be trade shows, festivals, awards, even concerts.
Ooh, I like that concert idea. Can we hire men without hats? I love the safety dance.
Stop it. You're gonna embarrass yourself.
Going up?
I'll take the next one.
You knew that was gonna happen, didn't you?
So, continuing on with the programming. There's receptions, barbecues, grand openings. So there's like car wash. I know there's all kinds of ways that I need. There's little plastic pieces. Then there's groundbreakings, car washes, themes, plays.
Okay, I think I get that part.
Cool. Okay, let's move on. You want to get your message out to the media. And there are 2 types of media. One is controlled and the other is uncontrolled.
What's the difference?
Anything that you send to the media is uncontrolled. Press releases, newspaper stories, all are uncontrolled because what the media is saying about your client, you're not in control of anymore.
Then what is controlled media?
Controlled media is anything produced by you and your client because you and your client are the responsible party for writing it. Things like brochures, newsletters, annual reports, all of these are controlled media because you're deciding what information to include.
That seems simple enough, but what about web pages?
Company web pages?
Yeah.
Let's ask our viewers again. Is a company web page an example of controlled or uncontrolled media? Take a second to answer.
I think it's controlled media.
That's right. And if you said controlled media, you're correct.
So now that I know about the types of media, what's next?
Now we need to know how to communicate the program to the public effectively. Henderson Hayes explained that there are 9 facets of effective communication.
And what are those?
The first one is source credibility. No one will believe a word of your campaign unless you have a credible source. Some characteristics include trustworthiness, expertise, dynamism, physical attractiveness, and perceived similarities between the source and your audience.
Wait. Physical attractiveness?
Yes. People are more likely to believe someone who is good looking rather than someone who is not.
Well, at least I'm a handsome fellow.
Right. The next facet is salient information.
What does that mean?
This means you want to communicate information to each different audience that is relevant to them. Different audiences need different information. And the third facet, nonverbal cues. This is everything that's not spoken. It's the atmosphere of the events you've planned, the symbols you use for the events, even the colors of your flyers and your newsletters.
Wow, I never knew so much went into a PR campaign. I bet I know what comes next. Verbal cues.
And right you are. Verbal cues are the wording of the client's message, and they can be broken down into two categories, clarity and appropriateness.
I know that to be clear, the words being spoken or written have to be accurate. Also, the language itself must be appropriately geared toward the specific audiences. You wouldn't use the same language you use for a retail store as you would for a bank.
And that is right. You know what? You're catching on pretty quick. The fifth concept in effective communication is using two-way model. As we learned from Carlberg, the two-way symmetrical model is fairly important. A message is bound between the two symmetrical sides, constantly being absorbed, processed, and then resent with feedback.
A good example of this is the comment section of a YouTube video. It allows us to see feedback immediately.
That's a great example. The next three are a group of message receivers. Targeting opinion leaders because they can sway popular opinion is crucial. So is to use a group's influence. The groups exert their influence on individuals.
I know that selective exposure can be used to expose a message or an idea to a specific audience. That makes 8. What's the last facet?
The last one is audience participation. Similar to the two-way model, this facet uses the audience as a source of information itself.
I feel ready to take on this assignment.
And you're almost done learning the rote process. One last step remains: evaluation.